Recorded live from the Maddie Johnson podcast studio at GOT Sound Studio in Columbia, South Carolina. This is the All About Nothing podcast. The views expressed on this program are the opinions of the host. Some content and subject matter may not be appropriate. Listener discretion is advised. Listeners are encouraged to follow the show at theallaboutnothing.com for links to social media and more. Listeners can call the show at 803-672-0533. Thank you for listening.
All right, welcome back to another episode of the All About Nothing podcast. We have Zach King, Trent Clark, and joining us this week is Sydney Clinton, the Democratic nominee for District.
Welcome back.
I know we just said it. We just said it. It was District 98.
Come on, Bear. 98 degrees. 98 degrees, man.
The fighting 98. Look, I'm old, and
you're not old. Just older than the rest of us.
His mind keeps on slipping.
My dementia is setting in, is what it is.
Don't call it dementia.
Short term.
Don't talk about dementia.
It's the coffee. I'm telling you.
Sydney, welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
I told you we'd get you back in here, and when you were in here last time, I promised you a story that I was going to tell about something that happened when I worked in radio.
Yes.
So I'll just start off by telling that story.
Well, are you happy the goofballs are here this time?
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah.
We keep it interesting.
The whole gang's here.
Oh,
yeah, it's all of us.
We're back.
Yeah, you can wave to the camera.
Hey.
So my first full-time radio gig as a morning show DJ was at WIMO Winder, Georgia, which is just a little 1,000-watt AM station, community station mostly.
I picture a dirt road, and it sits right off the dirt road.
I'm not gonna say it was a dirt road. It was a
like on Old Brother, Where Art Thou?
Yeah, but it was
where they went to record.
What do you call
very
yourself?
similar? Very similar. So the night that I went to interview for the job, I showed up, and the guy that I was supposed to interview with had not yet showed up. His name was Sid Griffin, and come to find out, we were waiting on him because he's the county coroner.
Oh,
damn.
So he's the county coroner.
Two jobs, two hustles.
The woman that was in the lobby, I guess, of the radio station with me, she said that he was out on a call, so he was still on his he would be there. He would be there momentarily. So I waited like 45 minutes for him to show up. He did show up. We had our interview, and ultimately he asked if I could come in the morning because I was hired. So I got the morning show gig, and it was when I was walking out of the studio to find that the station wagon that had Barrow County Coroner on the side of it was running. Now, we had been in there for like an hour and a half.
You kept the AC on?
He kept the AC on. The body that he picked up, he left.
That's
he
so
left
disrespectful.
In the car.
Oh my God.
That's so disrespectful. Like, where's my dad? He had a radio show.
Yeah.
Not your dad, the guy driving the hearse.
He wanted to hear a song.
Yeah.
So that was my first I had interviewed for other radio gigs before, but this was the first one where I was gonna be like the on-air guy. And
what is it? You know you're a redneck, Lynn.
Yeah.
You might be a redneck.
Look up Barrow County, Georgia. It is between Athens and Atlanta.
Did you pull up with a cowboy hat on for the interview?
No.
Okay.
I didn't know that was a requirement.
He's like, yes, it's an F-150. Yes, it is a camper shell, but we got bags of ice and the AC's on the little sliding windows.
So, yeah, that was my bout with a county
From
coroner.
the state that brings you Marjorie Taylor Greene, you have this.
Yeah, that's a fact. Sydney, how's the campaign going?
It's going really well. In the last week, I have gotten the Planned Parenthood endorsement, Working Families Party endorsement, and the South Carolina Education Association recommendation.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
And you're only 20 years old, and you've already... You know what I was doing when I was 20?
Mischief.
Googling how many chicken nuggets is too many chicken nuggets. That's what I was doing when I was 20.
I feel like now we have content for the show the next couple weeks.
You're here doing that when you're 20. You're just putting it on, doing everything you need to do. Simone Biles was out there when I was 20, winning gold medals.
You was out there getting inspired, right?
Who, me?
Yeah, you.
I can't see you got sunglasses
I know,
on.
Man. You was talking though, you know what I mean?
Oh, this is like doing like an interview with Ray Charles.
Well, I'm trying to look at the TV too, so we got things. So
if with your head you
darker
could
in here for the TV.
You're just looking around.
You could just overly exaggerate your neck spin.
Just make it seem like I'm looking at you always, Zach.
That's when I met Trent.
The whole time. Looking through
20.
you.
14 years ago, yeah.
Yeah, it was 20, yeah.
How old were you when he was
15.
3 or 4 years?
Yeah.
Well, so
You were at least
I'm 31.
16, 17. Yeah.
31, yeah. So.
Yeah, 17. So
that's that is a significant amount of time ago. So
And Neat was way younger than that too. So you got to think about that too.
yeah, and you
And
all
now
were,
he's all our bosses.
I was gonna say
He's our boss.
you were just on the verge of taking him to a strip club, right?
Well, he's not here anymore, so you can say that.
Yeah, definitely.
Beep that out when it's
Bleep that out.
yeah.
We're
not
saying-
our boss.
We're not condoning
Oh yeah,
it.
fair enough. So Sydney's here. We're gonna do something special on this episode. There is a movie that if you go back and look at some of our YouTube comments, somebody made a comment after I made a remark in a show about the election and how absurd it was to think that it was stolen. You know why that lie seems to fester because
Dinesh D'Souza knows it was stolen.
yeah. So Dinesh D'Souza, if you don't know, is a guy that got in trouble with some finance laws, campaign finance situation with Donald Trump, and pled guilty to the charges. After he pled guilty, he served his time, his in-house suspension. I don't know
House arrest?
Is that what they
house
call
arrest.
it?
Yeah.
In-house suspension, timeout.
Yeah.
Makes it sound so weak.
So he served his time, and then one of the first pardons that Trump gave out in like 2017 was to Dinesh D'Souza.
Just go make a movie for me. It'll be great.
I feel like there needs to
Hey,
be
that's good.
Yeah, I feel like at least there needs to be some sort of acknowledgement in like what it takes to get a pardon. You can't have pled guilty to the crime that you're being pardoned from.
Yeah.
So, you know.
I
Kodak Black got a pardon too.
Yeah, I saw that.
the
I
thing
never
that
thought about it.
that is fun.
Lil Wayne.
I want Kodak Black out of jail. He didn't hit anybody.
This is going to be funny too, and the thing I'm most afraid of is if Trent will believe it when it's over.
Oh yeah,
Well, I might. You know, I'm conspiracy.
that is entirely
Y'all,
possible.
like,
do
this
y'all know
guy's
the
just
number
making
one
point
movie
after
right
point.
now on Netflix?
The number one movie.
Seaspiracy. I told you.
No, it's not.
It was.
Mark Wahlberg and Kevin Hart's
Well,
new
yeah,
movie.
they just dropped, but at one point in
And
time,
before that, it was
got right
Sandman.
back.
Seaspiracy. I haven't watched Seaspiracy.
Still
What is
haven't
that?
seen it yet.
That's where he's talking about all the plastics in the ocean isn't actually killing anything.
And the fish have
Why?
herpes.
All right, I'm gonna start the movie.
Yes.
We're
Put
gonna
together, I think,
we're gonna
the
play
most
the movie underneath us while we watch this.
extensive and inclusive voter fraud organization.
Clearly,
in the
this
history
is
of American
CIA.
politics.
This is edited. Yes, CIA footage. Yeah, that's right. You remember when President Biden was he had
Dinesh,
that.
I got some stuff at Mar-a-Lago for you.
Yeah, he got picked up by the CIA and in
And
question.
I like the intro music, man. It's getting straight
True
to
to
it.
the
It's intense.
Yeah,
It is intense.
It's drawing me in. I ain't gonna lie.
So-
This is like first 48.
This is like a Public Enemy.
I felt like we could potentially do a drinking game to this and then invite.
Did you bring
Sydney.
anything?
Can you rewind it for a minute? Because we have to give
We
credit.
can't drink in front of Sydney.
No,
I know. I've
You
never
are-
even seen alcohol before.
See, yep, she's never seen it, guys.
voter
I want
fraud
the production companies that pop up.
Oh, you want to give them credit?
in the history
Oh,
of
absolutely.
Yeah,
Okay.
this is nice.
Zach's going to give credit to
Can
the
you turn the
production
movie up a
companies.
little bit more?
So D'Souza Media.
Yeah,
There you go.
That's expected, like, because no one else would do it.
because he presents.
In conjunction with Salem Media Group, so that's generic. It looks like a health. This True the Vote.
Yeah.
Research by True the Vote. Now that is something we need to dig into at some point. Is who is True the Vote?
So Catherine Engelbrecht and Greg Adams are. Greg Adams, you'll see. They try to make him seem as though he is on the side of just facts, except that the facts seem to lean the direction that everybody wants.
Is that a vote drop off?
Yeah, this is supposedly camera footage of a PI that is watching someone dump ballots into a check-in box,
Wow.
and then of course they explain all of this. They explain this whole thing. So the music is by Brian E. Miller. So check him out.
Good guy.
I imagine he's on Instagram.
Hey man, he might be bipartisan. Is that what they call it?
Bipartisan.
Bipartisan, yeah. Not if you're in a Dinesh D'Souza.
Hey man, you never know, man. You gotta get the money.
So it's
Better
produced
cross the
by
aisle.
Dinesh D'Souza, obviously, and then also written and directed by he and his wife.
His wife, yeah.
Yeah, she's
Obviously.
yeah.
Keep
So
it in the family.
Listen, this shit just makes sense. She's like, I guess.
if we haven't said it already, the name of the movie is 2,000 Mules, and they'll explain.
Which definitely sounds like an old slave movie, but we can talk about that later.
Yeah, I had to look it up. I
Yeah,
had no
Barry,
idea
you
what
really
this was
scared
gonna
me
be
when I
about.
first seen 2,000 Mules. I was like, what is Barry trying to show?
12 years of mule.
with the founding fathers, with the men of Valley Forge, with patriots and pioneers throughout our history.
Obviously, you all know who that voiceover is.
Dedicated their lives to making this a nation of the people, by the people, and for the
It's Ronald Reagan.
Elections
Ronald
are
Reagan.
the lifeblood of our democracy. They're the mechanism.
Well, that's
by
not
which
him right
the
there, though.
American people
No, that's D'Souza.
choose
Okay.
who is going to rule on their behalf and for their interests and welfare.
As a poll worker, I just want to point out that what you're seeing
elections,
has
there
not
would be no
taken
way
place
for
in
the
almost
American
10
people
years.
for us
This is not how people vote anymore.
Mine was
E-polls.
mine was kind of crowded, but not near what that.
Oh, no, not even
you're
that.
talking about the
It's all
stand-ups.
electronic
Oh, yeah,
now.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's all electronic.
Yeah, they were voting at little paper. That's what you took your SAT like prep class.
Yes, facts.
They made you stand through your SAT. Those
Well, you gotta
bastards.
sit down.
If you're a Republican, you say, wow. If you're a Democrat, you say, uh-oh.
Do you see Donald Trump is now starting to widen
That poor
his
guy.
lead?
He was working
President
all
Trump
night
now
with his hands.
54% of the vote.
The president right now has the lead in the Keystone State.
We're going to have a great night, and we're going to have, much more importantly, we're going to have a great 4 years.
I have not heard that man's voice.
I know.
No?
2020. I think I blocked it out.
It's really bizarre. Fulton
Zach
County,
does it all the
most populous
time.
County,
I do.
It is Atlanta. They just stopped counting. Nevada, meanwhile, has stopped counting votes.
They've all stopped counting for the night?
This is bullshit.
All right, welcome back. This is CNN.
It was a real kind of weird that they did stop counting.
See, I told
on
you.
the East Coast. Why
It-
am I giving you the time?
It gets
Well,
late.
if you
I mean,
manage to
so finish the job.
For your pittance.
Actually, the counting never really stopped. It wasn't a.
Things were different.
Also overnight, Joe Biden pulled ahead in the state of Georgia.
Pause it.
Joe Biden takes the lead.
Do you think that he did this with his like high school test? Like, I didn't get a D. I need somebody to recount the test.
He definitely did.
The Scantron was filled incorrectly.
You can definitely make
Sorry,
a
I
D.
just had to because if he's doing it here,
You can make a D at A+ if you know how to do it.
Trent, you just wrote your name out in the bubbles.
Oh, you just got to finish the song.
Finish it. All right.
Coincidence
So,
it was the most secure election in U.S. history.
yeah.
Let me begin with one immutable fact. The 2020 election was the most secure election in American history.
It's the cleanest election, the safest
Little Scarborough.
election, the most secure election ever run.
And make no mistake, there has been no evidence of any significant widespread voter fraud.
I feel like that's still true.
The 2020 election.
So far, it's just
was the
facts.
most secure
election in American history.
Period.
This same
I
side
like the
accuses
different
anyone who
clips of
disagrees
everybody
with
saying
them.
Like that he put
Yeah.
period on there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
I think it's an attempt to show that there was some sort of like script that was being handed out to everyone.
Lie is just that, a big lie.
And despite a relentless media barrage, the other side remains convinced there was widespread election fraud.
Do you know who the last Republican to actually win the popular vote was? George W. Bush.
I was about to say it was Bush.
Yeah.
His second election. His first election, he did not.
Well, then that's where we had the first big lie.
Yeah.
That's where it started.
Election fraud, and I want to look at secretaries of state who illegally changed
Oh,
the
Rand
voting
Paul.
laws
He's a
without
grade
the
A
permission
bastard,
of their
isn't
state
he?
legislature.
Yeah.
There have been numerous attempts to prove election fraud.
There's
The van dropping
the
off
grade B
ballots in
bastard.
the early morning
The guy who
hours of
made the
November
movie.
4th, 8 hours past the deadline.
She said her mother was in a nursing home and did not have the mental capacity to vote.
Oh, Lord.
Video tonight that shows a man dropping several ballots into a drop box.
Scottsdale woman pleads guilty to casting a ballot in
my
her
God.
dad's mother's name.
Shows a man buying a registration form for an absentee ballot from a voter, giving him, quote, pocket money, unquote, of $200.
That's what my grandfather says.
I got
He gives
some
me
money.
cash
I got
and
some
doesn't tell my parents.
I got some Lucy ballots. Lucy ballots
What
over
does
here.
what does the Migos carry around? You think that's pocket money?
Hell yeah.
In case you need to buy a ballot from somebody, you keep that on.
Quick 100,000 on me.
That's tree fitting.
Election results in 4 key states.
Even some Republicans dismiss the idea of systematic fraud and call for us
Can't
to
believe they
move
let
on.
Dinesh D'Souza that close to the Capitol again.
Right?
The election.
Crazy.
The election was
Probably
fair
a green
as
screen.
fair
Very well.
Wow.
That was where all the money for this
She might be
production
on
went
to
into.
something.
as Republicans for the presidency.
Rather than
I only say that because I think so far we've only seen like one actual camera, like walking motion, following D'Souza very slowly.
But we can't move on unless we know the truth.
Got to do the awkward
Sure we
look
can.
now.
We know the truth.
Many other issues arise out of the 2020 election.
He's still right.
He's just, This is like walking a Civil War battleground for him.
Yeah, literally.
Like, we were racist a little bit, but we knew what we was trying to do.
We didn't mean it, and we're sorry. Because it didn't work.
Elected leaders to adjudicate the claims of election.
We didn't really want to keep them, but we just ain't want them to go nowhere.
The left's claim that this was the most secure election.
This is
also
giving
the
like
foundation for the widespread
elementary school like
censorship
history,
on
like social
media.
studies documentary that you have to watch.
November 3rd, 2020 to now.
Yeah.
From President Trump.
But is it a big lie? Is it a lie at all?
Yes.
They just have a sign that says, "I swear to God, try it." We're prepared this time.
That's how the State House looks now.
I forgot to
they got
mention
that blocked off. Did you see women's rights had a protest yesterday?
I was there.
Yeah.
I need this kind of respect when I walk into the studio. I want someone to take my jacket. I want the lights already on.
All right.
I need it all to go.
Hey, I'm Dinesh D'Souza.
I forgot to mention Dinesh D'Souza has a podcast.
Episode 1.
Of course he does.
We're in competition.
The only thing they can't take away. Cancel it. It's still here.
Let's not call it competition.
To speak the truth.
Let's call it a
Simply
landslide.
asking questions about election fraud, you get booted from YouTube and Facebook.
Wine.
Oh man.
Wine.
The podcast is sponsored by Salem Media.
Can't sing all my
and
stuff.
I knew that other Salem hosts felt
Him and Andrew Tate.
frustration. Larry Elder.
I was gonna say that's Andrew
Larry.
Tate. You don't know Larry? You don't know Larry when you see one?
Man, I was talking about the guy Andrew Tate, one that's being canceled now.
He's scary.
Yeah, he's very scary.
Oh, that dude is scary.
Let me begin by asking a very simple
Charlie
question.
Kirk. Of course, he's in there.
That we know the truth.
And that's because the president of Liberty University, isn't he?
Yes.
He's such a
You gotta have one black guy in the room, right?
Oh, that man, he's probably the
They're
dumbest
not
dude in the
racist.
room.
There's a black man in them.
Gotta have one, right? Well, at least one.
He's not even black.
Trump stood up there on the in front of crowds all
Him
the
and
time
Herschel
saying
Walker.
that's my black guy.
Yeah, him and Herschel Walker, man.
And I'm not okay with that, by the way.
I'm supposed to believe that a man who didn't campaign or campaign from his basement got more votes than the first black president of America.
Sorry, what?
I don't believe it.
Charlie, we have crumbs. We have some evidence here and there, but the picture is far from complete. Larry, in your race, you were asked straight out, right? Do you believe that the 2020 election was stolen? What was your answer, and do you abide by that answer as of right now?
Yeah, it was
My answer was that Donald Trump is in Mar-a-Lago, and Joe Biden is in 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
See, and
the
that's
lawsuits did not succeed. Do I believe there was shenanigans? Do I believe there were irregularities? Absolutely, and said so.
I feel bad for people that have this thought.
This is the loathed president I've ever seen. I thought Richard Nixon was loathed. I thought George
These are the
W. Bush
players
was
who play
loathed
Call of
because
Duty and go
Iraq War.
lag.
I've never seen the level of vitriol against this man. Every single day. I think there was a study that found 91% of the news of ABC, NBC, CBS nightly news against Donald Trump was negative. Dogged by a bogus 2.5-year collusion investigation. And then on the eve of the election, this Hunter Biden story drops, which shows that Joe Biden completely lied about his lack of knowledge of what his son was doing.
Okay.
Press.
What? Okay.
Here we go.
Hold on. I gotta pause this.
Yeah.
What is the accusation that by Danny Biden? What's his Hunter Biden? What was Hunter Biden doing?
Hunter Biden was doing crack.
He was having
aside from drugs,
Burisma.
because drugs are not. But what about Burisma? If he got a job,
It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
doesn't matter to you. Like what Hunter Biden was doing.
I literally from like October to December of 2020, it's all blocked out in my brain. Like I cannot recall a single thing.
All he did was he apparently he was on the board of Burisma and
Burisma's an energy company in
Ukraine.
In Europe. It's okay, so it's in Ukraine. Okay,
and it was corrupt. The board was corrupt.
But so
there we go.
But what was the difference?
Well, Hunter Biden was on that corrupt thing, and he had a laptop.
I may still
and he was having a lot more fun than everybody else apparently.
So
clearly, because you got to think about it. Before President Trump told us that President Biden had a son, nobody knew that.
I knew he had a son. He had a son that died, and he had a son that was addicted to drugs and went through rehab.
He wasn't top of discussion. Like nobody was talking about him.
Well,
you get what I'm saying?
But the only reason anybody knew who the Trump's kids were because he put them on television in front of people.
I have the great equalizer.
Get the fuck out of those kids.
It's just like say you were running for something and they came and saw Rico throwing them diapers outside, and they're like, Rico Clark out here throwing his diapers around. What's Trent Clark doing?
Why is he letting him do this?
Yeah, why
isn't he controlling it?
Oh my God, he must.
Now
have something
Rico's
to do
doing
with
cocaine off of the counter table.
At least he's doing the good stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? They can't be doing the bad stuff.
Is that because he was on the board of Burisma?
Yeah, exactly, making that money.
But it's just so irrelevant. It's like, well, Rico has sway over the mother, like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's like, what? This is a non-starter.
Yeah.
So, but ultimately, if Hunter Biden is guilty of something, then I have no issue with them going after him. But I don't understand.
It also has nothing to do with Joe Biden.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
okay, so if Joe Biden knew Hunter's secrets, well, I feel like Trump knows Ivanka's secrets, right?
The only thing I would care
At
about
least-
is
at
if we
least
found
Jared's.
out that Hunter Biden sent Hillary Clinton 30,000 emails.
No.
30,000.
We know Donald Trump donated to her campaign that he ran against. Like, he ran against Hillary Clinton and donated to her campaign.
In 2016?
In 2016. Like, so, okay, sorry.
CEO of Twitter later
Just-
on admitted that it was suppressed. And
Got him hot.
That alone would have altered the election. You add all that,
And they
up,
don't
my
say
point
anybody's
is,
name
This man is
underneath.
so low.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put it past the Democrats to do virtually anything to make sure he doesn't get another 4 years.
Sure.
I believed the president were a Nazi.
That's why they showed up in record numbers.
If we were Germans in the 1930s, we'd steal the election.
Dinesh
from
just
Hitler.
got them in a room. He's like, I don't even know their names. I'm just asking
Well,
stuff.
I just want to point out the argument that they just made was that, yes, if the president were a Nazi, then yes, we would try and figure out some way of stealing that election. That's what he just said. Because that's what we all thought of Donald Trump, was that he was a racist or a sociopath or narcissist, and or
things that we know about
the
Donald
things that make a
Yeah.
good fascist. So this guy, I can't remember what his name is, but he's basically saying that yes, if they believed that Donald Trump was a Nazi, then they would have been working to try and steal
That
the
alone
election
would
from
have
him.
altered the election. You add all that up. My point is, this man is so low. I wouldn't put it past the Democrats to do virtually anything to make sure he doesn't get another 4 years.
If I believed the president were a Nazi, I might steal an election.
If we were Germans in the
Yes.
1930s, we'd steal the election from Hitler.
Dinesh D'Souza is clearly not German.
Yeah, try and steal that election.
James Fonda, who said that COVID was God's gift to the left, right? It wrecks the empirical positives of the Trump economy. But
I'm gonna
here's
go on
the
a
other.
limb and
It
say
enables
no.
I didn't get that present.
things.
Yeah, it didn't
Did
feel
you-
like a gift.
Did you get that present?
Rules
You
of the
didn't?
election. So the point
Actually, I
is,
had a really
in
great
a
summer that year.
COVID environment, is it not conceivable?
I went to the
that Trump
beach every
could have
day.
Was it relatively empty?
I think
Oh,
millions of
yeah.
Americans
Yeah.
knew
It
something
was
went wrong.
They were probably like, you can't be on the beach,
No one's
COVID.
really
You're
put it
like,
together.
fuck you.
They know that there was injustice.
If you
They
want
know
to
it in
find
their
dirt
gut.
on
They
any
know it through
on
the
virtually
bellwether
anybody
counties
that's
where
of some
Donald
sort of
Trump
like
won
business
almost
owner or
every
whatever,
single one of the
go out there and
predicted
search
counties
to
that
see
showed
who
who's
took the
gonna be
PPP loan
president. And then they also
and who
know
got
where they
forgiven.
went to bed thinking
It is
Trump was gonna
epic.
have 4 more years, and they woke up with the exact opposite.
We have an individual.
I think it's the
who
ones
could
that
fill
didn't
stadium
get
with
forgiven.
60,000
It's the ones who need to be talked
supporters
about.
for
Yeah.
hours.
And
Vice
why.
Individual, you know the famous photograph of the 6 empty circles at a Biden rally. We have an incumbent president
come on.
who received more votes than any other incumbent president in American history.
Because more people
But he
turned
did-
out to vote.
Well, but he
10
didn't,
million
though.
more votes
He got.
than he did.
He did. He got more.
They both
he
did.
got-
They both broke records.
He got more votes
Yeah,
than
I
any
think so.
incumbent president in history. But Biden got more votes than any president, any non-incumbent in history. He got more votes than any president in history.
And he was beaten by a machine politician who couldn't speak clearly, who on the campaign stage would confuse his
I would just like
with
to
his
note that Joe
wife.
Biden has
It
really,
just
really
stinks.
nice skin.
Is it possible that
Does he?
the very
Oh, yeah.
success of Republicans
It's kind of like
down
the
ballot,
gold leaf
I'm talking
paper,
about
but
Republicans
pale.
running
Like you just lay it down. It's nice.
I was thinking raw
for
paper,
other
maybe.
reasons.
Yeah.
The fact that
Oh,
the
like thin,
Republicans as
like
a party
just
did pretty
paper
well.
mache.
But Trump lost. Doesn't that work the other way and undercut the idea that there was systematic fraud?
It's an anomaly.
Only if you.
Because if
He shouldn't speak politics at all. He owns he's the president of a Christian college. So it's like violating the Johnson Amendment essentially, except for just not a church. But it is a church.
Well, in his defense, though, when you watch, he isn't in leaning in this until the evidence that's shown.
I've watched so many people tear his ass apart. It's been great.
People who seem annoyed at the revisiting of the 2020 election. Their attitude appears to be.
I don't think there's a revisiting. I don't think we've ever walked away from it.
Well, I just seen it on TV.
I think the reason that many Republicans are saying let's move on is because bold accusations require bold evidence, and they haven't seen it.
He like shittily quoted Carl Sagan there.
And how much they're going to be bashed.
Well, yeah, you're called a sore loser.
Extraordinary
You're called a
claims
conspiracy
require
theorist.
extraordinary
The people who
evidence.
say that, let's move forward, are people in the elite who see Donald Trump as an anomaly.
You will not win in any district.
That's the
in this
thing.
country
They're making the extraordinary claim.
You
Yeah.
have
Right.
said that
Yeah.
20
And have no evidence.
was a fraud.
But see,
And if they
that's because
can't
it's a
win
reversal.
on
It's
this
a
issue,
denial
then don't
of
use it.
Well, it
just
doesn't have to be the
intelligence,
only issue,
because
but their unwillingness even to speak up about it, I think, is despicable.
Show me the
And
proof.
you know the thing, these men aren't dumb. They don't. You don't rise to a certain level of power being an insanely stupid human being. You're very selective in what you believe and what you propagate.
Show me the money.
Shit, we could. If Dinesh D'Souza can make a movie, we can grab that camera Nika's taken and go ahead and just make our own and be like, you know what, Donald Trump, basically he was the guy who planted the bomb.
These are the completely ad-libbed scenes between he and his wife.
Because she's a good 6 foot away.
You have to believe that they have this conversation every night.
Do you see
before.
that camera angle? They just did like a moving camera angle on her. That's not a normal camera angle.
It's the
right
20.
there? Yeah.
What does our friend Catherine think about all
They're not. They're not even in the same thing.
Oh, I thought she was at the end of the table at first.
That means that they're working on something. I think that you
Man
should
has a turtleneck that don't fit.
I'm Catherine Engelbrecht, founder and president of True the Vote.
There it is. Those are the people who did the research.
See her holding the
Hey,
sign.
I'm doing fine. Hey, listen, I'm here with Debbie.
Hey, Catherine.
She was doing the.
She was doing the sign.
I saw.
It was the sign. It was.
I saw.
You know what I'm saying?
Into this whole
That's what Trump would do every time he sat down.
True to vote.
He'd sit down like this with his
That's
hands.
because his arms don't touch his side.
Maybe
he can't get all of his fingers to wrap around.
Maybe they're opening a portal. Mm.
Called KFC and said your famous bowl's good. If it was macaroni and chicken, it'd be better.
Introduced him to you, but he has a deep background.
Is there any way you can get some Bojangles thrown into that KFC?
What is Bojang? Spicy, too spicy.
He's a massive 30-year experience. We decided to test a hypothesis, and we went.
Oh, you know.
Test a hypothesis.
Yeah.
Look at them.
The only credit I'll give them, they didn't say theory. Thank you, it's a hypothesis.
Hey, they use that smart. That smart word. Smart words.
Every time somebody says, like, I have a theory. No, you do not. No
So-
one's tested
Now,
it.
Greg Phillips, what's your background that prepares you for this kind of work?
I ate TV pizza.
In and around elections.
In and around my basement.
In and around
For a
elections.
long
Yeah, like-
time.
I have a gray beard. I rarely pick my nose.
I have 2 thumbs and I passed the 3rd grade.
That's like if somebody's like, "What do you know about college?" Oh, I've been in and around colleges.
I've been arrested around them as well.
I brush once a day regularly.
I had my windowless van towed.
You started the group called True the Vote in the year 2010. What was
And I have a
mission or
Microsoft
objective?
Surface.
We just didn't have enough volunteers working at the polls in our local elections. So we
Yeah, he's
began
getting-
by
they getting
training
paid for
people to
that.
work in the polls, and then as
Sir,
we
that
got
is an
further
iPad.
into it, we recognized, well,
is
some
it?
of the
Yeah, it's definitely an iPad.
I don't
No,
know, man.
no, it's an iPad, but
Problems in the voter
it's
rolls.
He's got the
what you
keyboard on
said.
it.
about the voter rolls.
It's like the magic keyboard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not bougie enough for iPads, okay?
Yeah, don't ever disrespect iPads.
I just got AirPod
Well,
Pros.
we
so
want
I'm
to be
just
we
now
want to be
getting into
sponsored by Apple, okay? Apple, come
Live,
on.
love,
No
Apple.
one
Yes.
has more data than we do.
Apple.
So I started True the Vote to ensure that every American voter has an opportunity to participate in elections.
I think I
IRS
became
targeting of
familiar with
conservative
your
groups.
work when you gave congressional testimony. Now, that was in the year 2014.
I mean, if they're talking about the churches, then yes, I feel like the IRS should probably potentially investigate and target some of these.
You have a whole law
Yeah.
that says you can't preach your politics, but here we are.
So my Spanish language came in very handy. I was a poll watcher in
So-
Luxembourg, and the
Her Spanish came in
poll
handy?
judge
Can somebody
was
look it up?
telling
Did he take her
this
name?
couple that came in
Definitely.
Yeah,
who to vote for.
his
My
wife.
name's
And of
Terry
course, she didn't
D'Souza.
really realize that I knew Spanish, and so
Why is
there
she
we
in this
go.
part?
Como te llamo? Trump's election was
She's
stolen.
part of the
When
investigation.
you set up
She's-
True the Vote, you set it up
She
not so
has
much- it's not a partisan
hypotheses.
organization.
Como se
That's because
dice,
you
that's not
saw
fair, stop it.
Shenanigans, problems with voting, as coming out of both parties?
Oh,
Look at all the servers in the background.
I know. What do you think they do?
Well, you told me about
They're
this is
hacking an
where
election.
this is where we
What if they're really good gamers?
Yeah.
Oh,
So
man.
this is where we tried hacking an election and failed.
Those are literally the bots that everybody talk about on Twitter.
This looks like one of the bad action movies.
Yeah.
It does.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you can totally see like Jack Bauer like
Somebody getting kidnapped in there.
lurking in the background.
You know Dinesh paid like way too much money just to have empty server blades with lights on the front of it, just to stack it.
To harvest absentee ballots, paying them between $2 and $3 a vote.
Oh, that totally seems
Pocket
worth it.
money.
Life in prison totally seems worth $3 a ballot.
Improvement
Totally makes
Association,
sense.
which was a kind of an African American get voters to the
There would be
polls,
so many other ways
but
to overturn
apparently they
this
were doing
election.
Hey man, but while we playing, that probably might be a good little lick, man. To stand out there.
We need a couple of these blank servers in our thing.
Yeah, but that's not even how it was
A
working.
person?
No. You had to go and find these ballots.
We're
You-
just-
like
we're
if you
just
were gonna
number
get,
Well, no,
Yeah.
we got to print up our own, man. That's what we got to do.
You can't print ballots.
Barrett.
See, Trent, you're in the conspiracies, but you're failing at the execution of the.
You got to print up your own ballots, make it look like the ballots, and just hand them out at the polls. $3. You know, like when people go hand out the fake tickets at USC
It
games.
has been a little while
saying, "I
since you've
need
gone and
tickets."
voted, hasn't it? When was the last time you've been to a ballot?
Because it's
I
electronic,
know,
bro.
man. I know, but I'm just saying, like how it was back in the day. I said that was.
But you know
I was
who would
talking
take?
back in the
You
day.
know who would take your paper ballots?
What's that?
The Trump supporters.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Somebody's gonna buy them.
$1.
Be like, yo, this is early voting. If y'all take these, I can beat the line.
Just put it in the mailbox at the post office. Just put it in the blue box. You don't even gotta write your name on it.
And in no way, in no
Put the
time
address
is
of the
that
White House on it.
Still gotta have a signature.
the immediate after.
Barrett, stop. We're not
Sign it, Dr. Seuss. I'll be wondering why.
Barrett's like, it still needs things.
I'm just saying, there are literal
procedures.
There are blockades in place to prevent exactly what they're trying to say is going to happen.
You were looking for a different.
They're saying it happened. Yeah, I'm sorry, they said it
Yeah, they
happened.
definitely said it happened.
outliers that were introduced in
Oh, they
such
got a
major
pegboard
way
with a
in
lot of
2020.
tools.
Namely, the privately
Someone's
owned
garage.
I'm telling you. With servers in it?
At home setup.
What neighborhood do they live in?
I'll tell you what, Dinesh. For $1,000, you can come to my garage. I'll back the cars out. You bring your servers in.
There might be
They definitely got a Tesla.
some, let's just call them bad actors.
No, they
Yeah.
Definitely have a Tesla.
Delivering
You don't have a house full of servers and don't have a Tesla, right?
They believe
That's
the
bad. That's
Doesn't
bad.
make
Yeah,
sense.
yeah.
No, they believe the batteries are worse than gasoline.
Track them and to bust them.
We didn't know. We decided we were
Yeah,
China.
that's the point at which they become like
and we
earthly conservative. Is
highly skilled
they become concerned for the environment?
What do you
Oh,
think
those
that
batteries
electric
draw
bill
way
is
too
like?
much power.
I have it. It's nothing.
The electric bill for having servers?
Greg
Oh.
is
Oh, now that's expensive.
Yeah, that's different.
So the idea is to collect the signals that are emitted from your phone.
Right.
Your cell phone is delivering information.
'Cause that's all
to
public
apps
knowledge.
that are collecting
And
publicly
Democrats
accessible.
solely have access to all of this.
Yeah.
Especially while the vote is happening as Trump's in office.
Oh no, that's not where he's going.
With that
This
This is how they found out.
Yeah, this is how they found out that the
Yeah.
votes were being stolen because they tracked these people and made sure that, and found individuals that visited
Well, here's my cell phone. My
ballot
cell
drop-off
phone is off.
boxes.
Can I be geo-tracked? even with
Meanwhile,
the cell
you're
phone
just
off?
flagging people down like, please vote.
Depending on the apps that
Depending
are
on
on
the
the phone.
apps, depending
That's
on
what
what's happening.
marketing companies do all day, every day.
Now, this is the point. We were just at the Apple store and at CVS. And
The
on both
Apple store. See, he did.
occasions,
He's a
they
plug.
were
That was a little plug he did.
At CVS, he
and
said.
they were telling you about specials, and they were so people have experience of this.
There's 300,000 or so apps that gather that data and then they sell it to
Oh, I bet there's more.
He's wide. This guy's wide-eyed.
Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. No, they're one of
Military
those.
for
The guy with the beard can't believe they're talking.
agencies and
They're
for
talking to him.
They're using it.
He's like, by God, I have all this information. Yes.
Mom, you're not going to believe what show I got invited to.
Anyone that I know
Dinesh.
in the community that
I know.
Dinesh.
No, he's not American. I mean, he
Dinesh.
is
that
American,
were
but
involved in
he's been
the
pardoned.
situation at the Capitol on January 6th.
He does have a really nice beard, though.
Very nice.
Yeah, it's kept.
Because they already
He went to
knew
jail
what
for
their pattern
freedom,
of life
Mom.
was. They already knew who to look at.
Oh, he's got dead eyes
They
though.
knew who to look at.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Digital footprint.
They're not even looking at
Show
the
eyes.
other person he's with. He's like, you don't do anything.
You're saying they must have known about these people before because some of those guys were arrested 1 day, 3 days, 5 days after
Weren't
January 6th.
they posting about it?
Yes.
Like,
Not
hey,
enough
we're
time
gonna
to do
storm the Capitol.
Yeah, not only did they say they were
this
going
day,
to do
this
it,
time.
they videoed and took pictures of themselves and posted while they were doing it.
Yeah. Live streaming.
Yeah.
And then you had conservatives like on my personal Facebook, like if I only made a living wage, I'd be up there with them.
Yeah, facts. That was happening a lot. I've seen a lot of that.
Democrats now, would you like a living wage? Get out of here.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is
that changed real quick.
These
These are the same people that voted down like legitimately like lowering the cost of diabetes insulin medication. They're like, no.
That the CIA was able to identify
help first responders.
Bin Laden.
It certainly played a role.
But put that one man in jail for doing it, for selling it at a high price. You know?
Yeah.
Ain't that crazy?
Well, no.
That was HIV.
Apps are participating in this program, if you will.
The reliability.
He'd gotten away with it if it weren't for those damn kids and their ornery
that,
dog.
That damn laws.
He was bragging on Twitter.
Yeah.
It identifies your phone. Now, I could have given my phone to Debbie, but the simple truth of it is my phone was there on this particular date, and there's absolutely no question about that, right?
Correct.
Now, you decided to purchase through these brokers that make this information available to companies. They make it available all kinds of places to buy
What
data.
a waste of money.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the methodology.
This is a job. You heard what you just said, right?
In certain places,
Show us the receipt. Show us the companies you bought it from and the receipt, and show us how they got that data.
What are the areas that you bought data for, and what were you looking for? And what's the time period?
October 1st through the election. In Georgia, we actually bought,
He bought it from like
October
Tresemme
1st through January 6th after the runoff.
I wanted to know what grocery store people
we
bought their
went in.
product at.
We decided to do the Atlanta metro area because it picks up.
Oh, he
some
said metro wrong.
rural
He's
areas, it picks
delegitimized.
up some urban areas.
He
it
put an
picks up
A
some
on it, right?
suburban
Metro
areas.
area.
309 drop boxes in the area. And we thought, okay, well, this is a pretty good test. We, in essence, sort of fenced around those.
Geofencing.
Back in my day, I had to take my van and
we
follow
were able
people.
to make purchase of data
This is where I point at the screen that somebody else is clearly working on.
You see these fire ants? We call them fire ants.
Across the country, we bought 10
That's people
trillion
committing
signals.
fraud.
When they give you this data that you then have to go through, what does this data look like?
Well, it's a massive data transfer. We have more than a petabyte of data. You're talking about
A petabyte.
transacting
Damn.
Never heard of
hundreds
that in my life.
terabytes.
It's
So a
1,000
significant
terabytes.
Move
Yes.
of data.
Seems unnecessary.
10 trillion.
Well, they got
Probably.
Like
Bear, they got
Prisma-
servers. They got to use them.
Our servers kick in and get this petabyte of data sorted for me. I want traitors and patriots.
I don't know that I can. I don't know that I can say that Prisma Health has a petabyte of data.
Such an aberrant pattern.
That's
So what you're
hilarious.
saying
But he
is
paid
like-
for the upgrade, so it like came with an extra.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like,
Yeah.
me and Steve Jobs were cool, so I have a petabyte of data on my phone, actually.
A large number of drop boxes and multiple trips, and that way we're going to catch not all the offenders, right, but the worst offenders.
You haven't caught any of them.
Absolutely ensure
Zero.
that we don't
So
have
all of
false
this data,
positives.
at what point do you think that they turned it over to the authorities and say, here's the proof you were looking for?
Well, the CIA is obviously involved.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
and
Biden
now the
had a
FBI.
camera
We
by
know
them.
now
Right.
the FBI. Yeah.
that we identified
Defund them,
in
right?
Atlanta,
Dinesh is just like, they're coming for me soon. He's
that went
itching
to
his
an
temple with a
average
pistol.
Of 24 drop boxes.
Don't defund the people we
in
don't
8
never see. You know.
organizations during a 2-week period.
242 mules. Now let's pause for a second. What is
Oh, I thought that
a
was an
mule?
instruction.
When we started the project, we had to figure out how are we going to describe the individuals and the elements involved. And to us, it felt a lot like a cartel. It felt a lot like trafficking. It can be trafficking in drugs, trafficking
Stretch.
in humans.
You know people are going to turn down money to be like, you want to
Cattle
die for a
trafficking.
vote?
So we
Like,
began to use that vernacular. A mule is, by our definition, a person that is involved in picking up ballots from locations and running them to the drop boxes. So you have the collectors on the one hand, you have the
Why did
stash
he get
houses,
out
which are
of
the
his car like
nonprofits,
that?
and then you have
Like
the
slithered
mules that
out.
are-
Yeah, I always
This
get out
is-
of my car ass first. Just
So not to give anything away, but at some point they will say that is actual footage that was taken by a private investigator.
He had a whole
who was following this guy around.
Yeah, he had a whole lighting set up.
Yeah.
And he had everything.
Whoa.
How do you get the bottom of his
By
foot?
the way, how much they get paid?
Why, if he's
With
such a
that
good
setup.
if he's such a
Man,
good
fuck that
PI,
dude,
why didn't he
man.
get his face?
It's
Like,
generally
why-
Believe it or not, this was
about
taken from the space
the
station.
Georgia runoff that
Now we're on to something now. We never really went there.
2020, of course, was the year of the Antifa.
That's why Monday
riots,
didn't work out with
BLM.
the rocket launch.
And it was all going on in the months and weeks leading up to the election.
Right.
And
So what?
in the
Random
data,
shot of
you
looting.
have-
Well, no, they were talking about the rioting that took place before the election.
Antifa.
Yeah, all Antifa, Black Lives Matter, you know.
Several different.
Can you imagine how many people came up during that?
BLM, Antifa
Yeah.
riots.
Like
in
robbing
Atlanta.
stuff?
In one of them,
So
we
much stuff
had
that got stolen.
3 dozen
sure.
of our
There was a girl I went to middle school with who was arrested for looting a bathing suit store on King Street in Charleston.
Come
I was like,
on.
damn, bro.
That's
The
bougie.
bathing suit?
That
There's
is-
Apple stores right down the street.
That is bougie.
Well, yeah. I mean, these bathing suits are like $150.
Yeah, that's too expensive.
You're gonna catch your ass on the beach anyway. Come on.
You're going to look like everybody else with the regular $12 bathing suit.
You're all getting sand in inappropriate places.
Listen,
That's
ladies, that ain't Target.
There's not just a criminal element, but there is
bathing
a
suit.
Vera Wang you're wearing.
There's an overlap between people. I mean, you're not
The
gonna
Gucci
go to
store was
Antifa
there. What was he thinking?
It's a polo. Get off.
How many of those individuals on King Street had like their basket stolen? You know, the people that make the baskets.
Oh, them people ain't playing that, Barrett. You try to steal that damn basket, you guarantee you.
That's what I was
the people
curious
who
Yeah,
about.
you ain't have to worry about that at all. The people that make the flowers, you ain't have to worry about them either.
Yeah.
organization.
They'll fuck you up.
We'll turn the streets red again.
And what you're saying is they have a starting point or multiple starting points, and then they have the end point. And the end point is the Dropbox.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
But you're saying that they
God,
get
he's like the
ballots
Indian
from somewhere,
Snowden.
and
Yeah.
then they go deposit them in
Right.
multiple drop boxes.
one of the questions that will come up in the work that
Then
we've done is, well, how
Karen.
do you know that this wasn't just somebody that's got
I gotta look
I couldn't stop at HOAs. I had to move up.
This person didn't
So I
just
joined
work
Barry
at a
here.
location that is in your Dropbox, and so they're constantly
Yeah, we've
going
spent
by
many
Dropbox.
hours in his
The
basement.
elements that are
All these
added to
servers.
You ever seen the show
going to
Us? He had a guy in a
the
box.
ability to identify the pattern of approach to a Dropbox, and that it is going not past a Dropbox and on, but directly to a Dropbox and back to another point and then to another Dropbox. All of these things.
I mean, isn't the timing?
Was I saying
significant? Somebody's
Dinesh or
going to a
Depeche?
Dropbox at 2 a.m. in the
Dinesh,
morning.
okay, just making sure.
Presumably, he's not like out for a walk.
This
I'm
isn't
going
his
to show
first
you
stupid
a
movie.
visual pattern of life.
See, if the lights
that
would've been
someone
off,
can
you would've
see
been
and
asleep
look
by
at
now.
Rather than just a whole spreadsheet of numbers, being able to look at it in this manner. What you see here on the screen is a single person on a single day in Atlanta, Georgia. They went to
Dropping
28
off
drop
DoorDash.
boxes in 5
Yeah,
organizations.
facts. What if
It's
they had
an
another
Uber.
job?
What are the orange
It
dots?
probably wasn't Uber. We broke the game.
I need to go vote. Can you pick me up? Everyone's Ubering to vote.
Pattern of life.
Yeah, man. That
Don't
was one
introduce these
Uber.
Wasn't
variables
Uber
into.
actually offering like free rides
Free
on election
rides.
day?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the data they're using. Ubers.
You
Damn.
I wish I could jump into the scene right now and be like, "Hear me out, Uber," and he's like,
Some of these drop boxes.
No way.
"No, not possible."
It says his real name is D'Souza.
Go and surf
It
the
is.
street. You had to turn in somewhere.
It does not seem very.
And the
Well, he
circles
might have had
I
his
gave
servers
reflect
process his real
the
name out.
nonprofit centers. Are that the places where the ballots originate?
The stash houses.
Oh, yeah.
Ballots are
Stash
collected
houses.
and handed to the
We went to
mules
one of these, and there was
take
one
to the
single
drop
vote laying on the empty ground.
You're talking about the place where somebody stays.
A little over
Yeah. Yeah.
A little over 200.
in Phoenix alone.
The reason I think this is all very significant.
They
is
just knocked on
because
some lady's door.
these
She's
were
like,
very
"Stash
close
house?" And she's like,
states,
Yeah.
right? What was the margin in Georgia?
I thought you was my Uber.
"Yeah,
11,000, I think.
Uber Eats at, man.
I took my Uber to vote. It was free that day."
Very close.
Then you moved on to
Wisconsin, but our initial look was in Milwaukee. Gross numbers were a little down, but the average number of visits to the drop boxes was up. So instead of having only 24 unique visits, I think we averaged 28.
How did I get one of these
maybe I
emails
have
to be
heard
a
people in
mule?
Milwaukee
Yeah.
are really hardworking, and maybe they just
You work at night.
Yeah, that's a nice
What
job.
do I gotta do?
You have to be a part of Antifa.
Like, Joe, tell me what all the ballots are.
You got to go
I'll come
online and
through.
get your membership.
You haven't
Make sure
filled out
pay
your
yearly
Antifa?
thing.
Well, no, Antifa's blood in, blood out, and I'm not about that.
Antifa, we're still looking for our podcast endorsement.
It's just one little cut, man. That's all they need. A little finger cut.
It's like I cannot think of a rational,
Yeah, but it's where they put the cut.
reason for someone to do that. It just doesn't exist. So any reasonable person would say, you're onto something big here.
We should take a closer look.
Let's go to Pennsylvania.
Listen, you unreasonable.
Please run that back.
I have never felt more.
I cannot think of a
I
rational,
need that drop.
kind of innocent reason for someone to do that. It
Well,
just
you got
doesn't
Ted
exist.
creeping
So
on them in this
any
basement.
reasonable
That's
person
it.
would say,
They-
you're onto something big here.
We should take a closer look.
Let's go to Pennsylvania.
So what he did was take a group of data and then put it to his hypothesis.
Yeah.
And said, this has got to be what it is.
Yeah, it's
And sold that bitch.
There's your correlation.
You got to understand, he sold it to the...
to Dinesh.
I know. This is what I'm trying to say.
Dinesh made a whole movie about it.
Him getting finessed.
And you know what? Ted deserves at least 5 of that $32 to Dinesh.
Yeah.
But the end of this is going to be like a trigger warning. Like, this is what happens when you get yourself involved in pyramid schemes.
That's horrible.
So Dinesh is in Guantanamo Bay now.
It was the servers that made him believe him. He's like, look, we got servers.
Well, these are actually all
They're legit.
We have irrationally stacked filing cabinets behind us.
Axes.
Well, that one's on its side for some reason.
He's like, Dinesh, I'm not going to lie to you. These are all Verizon customers. T-Mobile and Sprint we're not down with.
They're using my house as storage.
These are all people on bicycles taking DoorDash.
They said they'll pay my light bill. Just keep it here.
Murders. That one. Cold case status.
Pay my light bill. Because of these servers. Oh my
killed by
God.
rounds of gunfire shot into a car. It happened just outside this Wendy's parking lot.
Bought the data.
Oh, I
and
remember
the team
that.
got to work.
Oh, come on.
Visually, that there were only
Get his go bag. Does he have votes in it?
devices that could possibly have pulled the trigger. So this is the area, and this is where the Wendy's was.
And are you saying that
It burned
each
down.
Green dot is the same guy,
Yeah,
but
they're by
moving
color.
through time.
Each color is one person. The shooting actually occurred.
We've
right
identified
here
these people by color.
in this parking lot.
Hoping
Sort
the
of
next leap
inside
will
of
be
this
the leap
circle
home.
are really the only
The time traveler.
potentially legitimate.
A lot of light blues
shooters.
there.
Each of these devices.
I'm just trying to figure out what he's
They're
saying.
approximating Sprint.
And we turned the bulk of this information over to the Federal Bureau of Investigation.
Now,
Obviously.
I read
Because-
they've
Because they
arrested-
wanted to buy it too. They're like, you got this data?
And then the Federal Bureau said, sir, this is a CVS.
I used to work for their radio station, WSB.
And isn't it true that
He brings your name in. Like then Barrett Gruber. He was running a whole station by
With the
himself.
mules.
Exactly.
It's one thing to have the scientific evidence, which is persuasive on its own merits.
95.
And then you have the Jesus evidence.
We do.
How much of it do you have?
All of it.
That had to have come to him in a vision.
Around the country.
Official
There's a burning
surveillance
bush.
video Of these.
Her name-
Yeah, I was
male
microdosing.
inbox
Did I see a burning bush?
Her
Of
name
course.
was Stephanie.
How do you get
Yeah.
it?
Stephanie the
You
hooker.
can file for open records
Bush.
requests. Any citizen can do this. It was a very difficult series of steps that had to be followed to procure the actual surveillance video.
Let's not say anybody could do this then.
Is it
I
video
wouldn't want that lady
from
at my
the
kid's soccer
presidential
game with those
election,
peepers.
The runoff election, or both?
Both.
Do you have video from other states?
Some video from Arizona. We have recently learned video was specifically turned off.
Of course.
Particular drop
Of
boxes.
course.
In which state?
Arizona. Wisconsin, it turns out.
It's easy to make that
even
claim.
though the
Turns out in
rules
Wisconsin,
required
if you
them
ask
to
for that
have
video footage,
Did
they
they
spray
do
you with
the
a
video?
No,
hose.
they did not.
There should be video on every Dropbox.
Indeed.
Given today's kind of cost of technology, it would not have been that hard to do it. And you sent me a screenshot, Catherine, where you were requesting
Put ring
video,
cameras on every Dropbox.
and I believe it was the state of Georgia
Fund it.
saying
Quit making
this
these
video
movies
does
and then
not
go fund
exist,
the
and
camera.
We can't
Yeah.
tell you why it doesn't exist.
Right, that was in Fulton County. We have correspondence like
Bad
that
mouthing
from
Fulton
a lot
County.
of states. In the absence
The
of
Braves were playing.
that
They were
geospatial
running
data
everywhere.
is
They were already.
key
The
to
Braves were moved out of
decoding,
Fulton
you know,
County
what
by
the
here.
greater scheme
that's
was.
true.
But in the
They
case
were-
of
they were in
what
Cobb.
we're going to show
Old
you
people were
now,
thinking
what kicks
Braves
it
should
up a
still be
notch
here.
Is that we have the geospatial data to support the video.
Let's talk about some of the videos.
So we're going to show you a couple different ones. This particular individual we have in a number of different locations at a number of different times. He's actually
Watch for the timestamp.
I was
Where's the
about to
timestamp?
say that. Where is it?
Where's the timestamp?
They cropped it out.
Video.
They don't have the names, much less the timestamp.
Right.
And so as
Here-
the person pulls up, they don't even bother parking.
I don't want to give it away, but I will.
I'm sorry, sir. Was he ghost whipping this thing?
One of the things that they always point out is that they try to stuff too many in the ballot at once, and they drop them.
To cheat, they look around. They basically walk fairly quickly. They
Show
try
us
to
his
jump in,
face.
They try to get
So-
out
of course,
there.
dropped
In
it.
this case, he drops a
Who
few
says
on
he
the
didn't take his whole family's votes over there?
Yeah.
How many do you think he possibly could have had in his
Well, like
hands? 6?
Dinesh, you'll see he's black. And then he goes to 5 other
back and hustles out of there. So
Hustles
this
out
is
of there.
what it looks like. It doesn't
Yep,
necessarily.
getting paid those big
look
bucks to
like,
drive his
hundreds of
Suzuki
ballots being
Arrow
stuffed
or whatever.
You don't need a whole lot
too.
of fraud. You just need a little in the right places over time.
Is there a way to estimate, or even roughly, how many ballots are being tossed into a box at a given time?
It might be 3 or 5 or 6 or 10 or something like that.
The
My
idea
God,
is
no
to
way,
stay
Dinesh.
under the radar. And as Greg said, the number is, 3, 5, 10 ballots. But then they're not done for the day either. They're going place to place to place, day upon day upon day. And so that will not show up in
Look at
your
her.
chain of
She's like,
custody
hell
documents,
yes.
your tracking documents that would identify
You are saying
the
everything I
collector.
want you to say.
You memorized your script
That's
really
what I
well.
was thinking.
You're
On the other
selling
hand,
this.
We've seen circumstances where it appears that buckets full of ballots showed up.
Buckets full of ballots.
In
That's my next single.
I wish they had a guy trying to put a bucket full of ballots in that slot. Just like,
You see him get frustrated and rip the top of it off.
he's just screaming, "Nothing to see here!"
Roughly 10 times what we normally
Move along.
see. We sorted through the geodata, found a few hundred people. Okay, well that's pretty odd. We have video
Is
of
it?
all of
Where'd you
this.
get this data, Ted?
And guess what?
4chan and 8chan.
271 people approached that ballot drop box during that 25-hour period. 271.
So?
1,962 ballots were deposited.
Oh, come on. How could you know that?
He doesn't.
Here are election officials pulling out of that drop box 2 full duffel bags containing over 19.
Another black guy? Coincidence or not?
Let's look at another one.
Yeah, let's take a look at.
Interesting thing about this person
this not like
the
the same
device
place?
seems to live in
It's a-
South Carolina.
Well, she
shit.
lives in South Carolina, and she was
She
driving
is
across
here
the border.
for both election cycles, but is not a resident of the state.
But as she
What's her
approaches
name?
the
Tammy?
drop
You
box,
don't even have her name, much less where she
never
lives.
Yeah,
looks at
tell
the
us
trash
the names.
Why haven't they
She's
arrested
looking
her?
the other way.
But the other thing she has.
What's even
is
more
she
confusing
has
is she's
gloves
wearing a
on.
New Orleans Saints shirt.
What one of our analysts noticed was these surgical gloves only appeared from December 23rd forward in the runoff.
What?
So we didn't see a lot of them previous to December 23rd.
Oh, even
We couldn't figure
COVID?
out
Not a
why.
thing? People
And
weren't
then
wearing
it
gloves to
dawned
gas
on me.
pumps
My
or...
Mom was wearing gloves for the longest.
See?
There was an indictment handed down in Arizona for people that
Okay.
had stuffed ballots, and the way the FBI
This is a fact.
nailed
There was
them
an actual
was
case.
fingerprints.
Yeah,
And then
but
lo
the
and
exception's
behold,
not the
the
rule.
next
Exactly. Agreed.
days forward.
So this video is now from the Georgia runoffs. This is January of 21.
This
That's right.
particular one is at approximately 1 o'clock in the morning on
How many do you think
January
she's in
the
her hand?
Stuffs her ballots in there.
2?
It's like a small stackish, maybe 3, maybe 4.
Oh, she didn't drop any.
Takes them off, and then puts them in a trash can that she never looked at.
You still know her name. What are you
What?
saying the
She
gloves
knew
were
it was
for?
there. She knew it
What
was
difference
there.
does it make
Right.
whether she
And
knew
so
the
we
trash
have
can
her
was
on a
there or
number
not?
of
Yeah, I mean, as
locations.
soon as you
She's an
turn around, it's
out-of-state mule,
Yeah.
and
They
this
knew
is
the
in
woman
no
was from
way the
South
only
Carolina, so they know who
Dropbox
she
that
is.
attended.
Yeah, if
No,
yeah,
she's-
if
What were the
well
gloves for?
because they followed her tracking,
Dozens and
so they
dozens
saw her
of
going
course
back to
it's
South Carolina and then coming back. But
What you're going to see is he
I mean,
approaches
I-
the drop
I-
box on his bike. He also has.
I want to say if there hadn't been a trash can there, she would have just thrown the gloves on the ground.
Backpack.
probably.
Taking his time.
Taking his time, digging around, looking for some ballots. Finally gets that.
Oh
Digging
my
around looking
Okay,
for
now-
Some ballots.
Awfully accusatory,
He'll
sir.
Put them in. But you also see him get sort of frustrated as he starts to leave, because guess what? At this point, they had started requiring the mules, apparently, to take pictures of the stuffing of the ballots. It appears that that's how they get paid. So they take a picture.
Are they getting paid in
stuff it they
cash
take
or
a
like
picture, not a selfie, but
Venmo
a
That's
picture
a
of
great question.
The actual
Cash
ballot
App?
going in. But this guy gets frustrated.
I'll give you
so he
DoorDash
actually has
credit.
to Park his bike, get off.
So if you were there just casting
three
your own
meals.
Sure, he ain't just on the phone talking to somebody. Oh yeah, taking a picture.
He's probably taking his like I voted,
and he put his bike in front of it a little bit.
We're not going to show you the one where the bum piston thing. But
I rode my bike all the way over here today to drop off my family's ballots.
Middle of the day. This is actually at a polling place.
Look at this
So the
mule
people in line
doing it in broad
are
daylight.
waiting to go in and vote early. They're doing it the right way. Okay, now you've got some
Doing
other
it the
people
right
who
way.
walk up.
Dog is a distraction.
But this next guy.
It must be an ugly dog because nobody seems interested in like petting the dog
Or trying to even show the dog. So why is it illegal to show a dog?
This lady.
Yeah.
They don't want you to
Like
identify
I've never
the
seen
dog.
a dog blurred out.
She's the only lady in Georgia that's got the dog blurred.
That was weird. Why is the dog
blurred?
Ain't nobody own a Boston Terrier in Augusta, Georgia.
No one's ever seen this type of dog before. We're protecting. Who are we protecting?
The dog.
It's a man
Clearly.
bear.
Obviously. They don't want the dog implicated in this crime.
Dog did nothing here.
What does this all even mean? If this is happening in broad daylight and nobody's doing anything to stop it.
It's called voting, ma'am.
So these are the kind of things.
It's really
4 million
crazy
minutes of this.
concept.
This was an organized effort to subvert.
Sure it
a free
was.
and
That's
fair
like a
election.
Walmart.
This is organized crime. You
I
can't
feel like
look at this
This is
data in
multiple.
its aggregate.
I feel
This is a multiple
What
one.
does it matter?
But there's no timestamp. There's nothing on this
Yeah.
screen to prove that this is like.
Bear, are you looking for evidence?
You talking about factual evidence? I'm just going off what I see.
Look, it's a whole line of mules.
Well, they're skipping lines to cheat.
Literally, if you're in line, you're like, I was going to cast mine. Can you take mine with you?
Yes, this would have made a difference.
Adding these numbers up, we have.
See this old guy disrespecting the rope.
2,000+ mules.
It's the way he went
Based
under
upon
and like
not
disconnected it though.
searching these whole states.
He
And
matrixed
remember,
it.
We're only talking
Did a
about a
little
small
dance.
number of states. We're not talking about the whole country.
We're not even talking about whole states.
We're not even talking about whole states.
Right, that's right.
And we're
Just
also
the
talking
most
about a
Democrat
gross undercount
versions of
the
those
actual number
states.
of
We
mules
went to
because you
Atlanta
set a high
and knew we
bar.
was gonna catch
They
something.
had to go to 10 drop boxes. So if there's a mule who went to 7 drop boxes, you wouldn't catch that guy.
And they had to go to nonprofits, so they had to meet those 2 criteria.
Oh, good.
and
Next
then go
election's
to one
safe.
of
No
the
more
2
than 7.
If they met the 2 criteria but went to a post office box, we're not going to look at them.
One of the slogans of the Democrats through all this
Dude, I
debate
parked like
has
that for
been,
COVID tests.
Make every
Yeah.
vote count. And I think we can now see in a chilling way that this is kind of what they mean.
Oh, let's
What
email
they
Dinesh
mean
and be
is,
like, I think they're
it doesn't
faking the whole
matter
virus.
if all kinds of
Get some
illegal
video of
ballots
people
are
Look,
dropped in.
this is
Let's
clearly
just count
the
them.
same
Now the
location,
narrative
just from a
Right.
different
needs to
direction.
be
I think
this
that
is
they
the
just
most
moved the
secure
box.
election. This is the
Well, and
most
they think it's a
fabulous
bad thing
election
that
we've ever
everybody's
had.
throwing
Pay
more
no
than one
mind
in there because
to the millions of
if your
Americans
brother's
who are
going
saying
over there and your
something
whole
is
family
not.
has
Yeah.
already done
This
it,
does
you're like,
not
well,
make sense.
all of us shouldn't have to go
Nothing
over
to see
there.
here. Just smile and wave, boys.
I mean, wouldn't it be an accurate summary to say that these voter bills that the Democrats are desperate
Oh,
to
Lord.
enact
Here we go.
federalize the election? Isn't it that they want to take
It's a
all these
federal
special
election.
provisions
That's it.
that have
Mail 'em all
enabled what
in.
we've
Next time, no
described,
mules
that
are
you've
needed.
described in the
I want to
2020
vote on my
election,
phone and be
make
done
it
with it.
permanent?
Please.
If we don't
They can't track
wake
us that
up
way, Trent. Good
and do
thinking.
the
I'm telling you.
roll up your
You just do a
sleeves
poll
work
on
that's going to
Facebook.
take
Yeah.
us all back
Make
together,
it easy.
then
They'll tell you
yes, all
what
the
Batman
pieces are in
villain
place
you
for
are,
our
and
election
you get to
system
vote.
be in permanent lockdown.
I feel
And it
like
will be
that's
done
already
under the
what movie was
watchful eye of the media that will tell you it's all
Idiocracy?
just fine.
It
Idiocracy?
seems like they are
I
subverting
like money.
democracy in the public pretense of protecting it.
Absolutely. And it won't stop unless we stop it.
If I look across the
U4.
swath of
U4.
Republicans,
What do you think the hair budget
this
for
is
this
not the
movie
kind
was?
of issue
Oh,
that
I'm
they
guessing
seem
in
to
the
be
tens of
comfortable with.
dollars.
It's almost like they would.
Yeah, it was in the
rather
haircut
endure-
ones
That's
of.
right.
She's got a nice little swoop that hasn't moved yet.
There's
There's definitely a lot of hairspray in that.
Yeah,
bitch's
yeah.
hair.
She's not her.
I mean, both of them.
Yeah, they're not moving. Like, you
know
don't
that-
realize that?
Well, you know the guy who
She's been
has,
shaking her head the whole time.
the dude who has the beard has a fresh cut because you know that Joker had hair down to here.
It might be a fake beard.
Yeah.
It might be a fake beard.
He
It's like,
frequents
patch
sports
me up.
clubs.
Like,
They
My
checked
name's
his,
not Ted. It's
They checked his geotagging. It was always sports clips.
oh my God.
And he was always in there an appropriate amount of time to get a cut.
They
a
always got the
shave.
MVP.
Yeah, he always got the MVP.
Sure
MVP.
that this was not, in fact, far from the most secure election in history.
Oh, okay. All right, so we're gonna pause it right there because this is gonna be the end of episode 1. We're gonna do this in 2 parts. So, what do you think so far?
It's worse than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
You were excited about this.
Oh, but it's just blatant. Like, can you believe how much mail they're putting in this post office box? That's exactly.
They're sending their Christmas cards out early.
Yeah, we track their phones, and I bought all this data from Pizza Hut. It's like
they're saying people know more than just the people they know around them. Like, people actually do other things for people. Like, drop them off.
So, okay,
favors.
We don't do favors.
So let's assume that these individuals. Okay, I'm going to assume that these are not actual video clips of people dropping the stuff off. Let's assume that there were some people that potentially dropped off ballots for someone else. And that's not illegal as long as it's a family member and you've been given permission, verbally or written or whatever. So,
but how can you verify that is what they're trying to say?
You just go to the person that the ballot got turned in for. Did you turn in your ballot? No, I had so-and-so turn it in for me.
The next time I go to vote, the biggest worry I'm going to have is like, am I going to be on a Dinesh D'Souza?
You're going to be
the one looking around.
Check
You're
all
like, damn it, they got me.
You check all the corners for cameras.
I'm going to bring my dog too. Like, yep, that's me.
And don't blur my bitch out.
Blur them out.
All right. Well, you're gonna have to wait a week before you hear the rest of us watching these movies. So
verbal diarrhea.
Yeah. So
are you gonna remember where we stopped at?
No, we're not actually stopping. We're just stopping this recording and then starting a new one.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm gonna make you sit through the whole thing. We started.
Okay.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
You thought so too?
Yeah. It just sounds like
Sydney, you gotta come back.
Yeah. It just sounds like, Sydney, thanks for coming in to watch this 45 minutes of movie.
You're not gonna be able to sleep till you figure out.
I really won't. It's gonna be eating at me for the next week.
I'm pretty sure she can guess the end.
Nothing.
All right. Thank you, Nick the Geek, engineer and producer, owner and operator of GOT Sound Studio. Check out details on how you can utilize his talent and production expertise at gotsoundstudio.com. Thanks to Muff the Producer. Follow him on Instagram at Muff the Producer. Thanks to Shiana Rivers for the intro and outro. Follow her podcast, Who You Callin' Holistic, available on most of your podcast listening platforms. Thanks to Trent Clark, aka DJ Lonzo, currently serving as the house DJ at the main course in Columbia, South Carolina. Make sure to go by and have a good time. You can contact Trent for all your entertainment needs. Trent at theallaboutnothing.com and on Instagram at TheRealDJLonzo. On Twitter at DJ Lonzo Top 5. You can also phone him 803-262-7982. If you enjoy the show, consider becoming a patron by visiting our website and clicking at the link at the top of the browser that will take you to our Patreon page. You can find details on how you become a supporter, or you can check out benefits there and just consider a donation so that we can continue to bring you this nonsense. We enjoy doing it. We enjoy you enjoying it. As always, you can follow us on Facebook. Just search for All About Nothing US. On Twitter and Instagram at AAN_pod, or you can find links to all of our social media and available podcast platforms by visiting theallaboutnothing.com. If you'd like to be heard on the show, you may call and leave us a message, 803-672-0533. If the time between these episodes is too far apart, you can fill that time by checking out some of our partner podcasts. Zach and I host What the Pod Was That with Carrie Simmons. Visit whatthepodwasthat.com for links and details. Carrie and Chrissy host Status Macabre. You can find details at statusmacabre.com. Ami Bland takes a deep dive down the rabbit hole in episodes of Welcome to Wonderland, available on all of your podcast listening platforms. As well, you should check out our own DJ Lonzo's Top 5, hosted by Trent Clark, available on most of your podcast listening platforms. Thank you very much for listening to the All About Nothing. You all stay safe and have a week!
This The All About Nothing podcast is recorded live from the Maddie Johnson podcast studio at GOT Sound Studio in Columbia, South Carolina. The All About Nothing podcast is produced and engineered by Nick the Geek, owner and operator of GOT Sound Studio. To support the show, please visit theallaboutnothing.com for links to social media, merchandise, and more. Become a patron of the show by following the Patreon link at the top of our page. The All About Nothing podcast is an entertainment product of Barrett Gruber. Special thanks to Zach King, Trent Clark, Muff the Producer, Nick the Geek, and you, our listeners. Please subscribe, rate, review, and share. If you're on YouTube, please hit the like button and the notification bell. Thank you for listening.